Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day so far. I'm your host Phil, and in today's video, I want to show you around the man cave over here, the space in which I make my YouTube videos. Let's roll that intro clip and then get into some talking points. Thank you everybody for tuning in today's video. I highly appreciate it. So, you might have recently come across Paul Bradshaw's video in which he talks about why he's doing YouTube over the age of 40, what inspired him to do so, and he was showing a little bit around, and I just jokingly said, hey man, I've been thinking about doing a studio tour. He kind of encouraged me to do that video because he was super interested in seeing my setup over here, and I think it's actually something which a lot more content creators should do, show their space, show the tools which they use to work with, and that really inspired me. So Paul, thanks a lot for the encouraging words. Always a pleasure talking to you. So this is exactly what this video is going to be about. I'm going to guide you a little bit through with my smartphone camera, so it's going to be a little bit shaky because I don't got one of those fancy gimbal things going on. I got to hold everything with my hands. The audio which you're going to hear is not going to be of this microphone as I usually do, but it's going to be of this microphone instead, which is the Hollyland Lark M2, which is an amazing lavalier microphone. Super easy to clip on. It holds on with a magnetic thing. It doesn't pull on your collar. I hate that with a passion when it does that. And yeah, the sound quality is absolutely good in my opinion, but see for yourself. However, let's roll that clip where I'm showing you through the studio. So welcome everybody to my safe space, my content creation space, my rehearsal room, my recording studio. This room has seen a lot during the last years, had a lot of different functions over here. Currently it's serving as a space for storage, as a laundry room, and also my YouTube content creation space. And this is a very large room in our apartment and has the benefit of being quite far away from the bedroom, so I can be really loud also during night times because we have basically virtually no neighbors over here, which is really cool, really awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna guide you through the room. I'm gonna guide you through the gear which we have, through the setup which I have, and talk a little bit about what we got over here. So first glimpse into the studio, you can already see down there in the corner is where I usually do my YouTube videos. My guitars are already prepared on the couch. I have done that way so that we got better lighting. I can show you better things. Usually they are here lined up in these guitar stands behind my amp wall. Let's move over to the guitars first. We got two acoustic guitars. One is a concert guitar of an unknown brand from my father-in-law. And then we got the Yamaha FG 180, which belonged to my father. He left that then to me. And that was basically the first guitar which I played my first notes on. Then we got the Ibanez Roadster 2 bass over here, which a good buddy of mine gave me for absolutely free. So thank you, you know who you are. Let's move over to the next guitar. This over here is a red, purplish Phoenix STM 30. This looks amazing with the 3D headstock. This really looks good. Plays really well. These are renowned to be of great quality. These are Phoenix guitars from the early 90s, late 80s. These are really, really sought after guitars on the, let's say, budget Asia market. So this one has an X2N in its bridge. Really slays, really gets that, thrash crack going on. Next up, we got a Jack and Danny Stratocaster copy. This belonged actually to my wife. She bought herself a guitar pack in, later teenage days, but she never got really into playing guitar, and so that guitar kind of went into my collection. Next up, we got the Harley Benton Do-It-Yourself kit, which I set up, I think 4 years ago or something, somewhere around the start of COVID, or a little bit before. So this one is basically a $70 guitar, which I built together and has some really cool features. So we got the Seymour Duncan SH5 in the bridge, a self-wound pickup in the neck position. We got Grover Locomatics or Rotomatic locking tuners. These are phenomenal tuners. And yeah, this is one of my best playing guitars, certainly. I really love this thing a lot. Next up, we got a Fender Stratocaster Mexico with I think it's a vintage white finish over here. This is gifted by me by a good friend of mine. Thank you so much. You know who you are. I really was craving always for an original Fender. I mean, this is not a US made Fender, but it's close enough. The cool thing about this guitar is that the pickups are basically Stevie Ray Vaughan signature pickups, so they're really hot wound. They really sound incredible when you got it, you know, like into a slightly overdriven amplifier. Next up, we got my second Phoenix STM 30, this time in the green finish. Sounds really phenomenal. This has GFS pickups, so guitar fetish pickups in it. Sounds really, really good and plays really well. This is tuned in E standard, so this is kind of my main guitar when I'm playing like Iron Maiden songs, playing Metallica songs, then I usually gravitate towards this guitar. Next up, we got the Harley Benton CST 24 with the blue finish. Looks far less blue than the advertisement pictures are, but it's still nonetheless a very good guitar. I really like it. I also added Grover normal tuners on this. So this has regular Grover tuners, which are phenomenal. I love Grover tuners. Yeah. Great guitar over here. This has a Seymour Duncan SH6 in the bridge, and I think a self-wound pickup again in the neck position. Next up, we got a custom-made Amber guitar. So Amber Guitars is a small brand by a buddy of mine, my best friend, Leon. He has his own small guitar brand, Amber Guitars. And yeah, he made this custom-made body for me. He had like a piece of wood lying around. I had a neck lying around, and then we joined forces together and this guitar came out. This has I think it's a Duesenberg Grand Vintage Humbucker, something like that it's called, and then a P90 also here in the neck position. Plays absolutely phenomenal, great guitar, looks great, is super lightweight. I really love it. And then next up, we got the Solar 2.6 A, and I think it's neon lime or something. So this is a really nice guitar. Plays absolutely great. To be honest, I had to do some fret work when it came from the factory to me. I wasn't that satisfied with how the fret ends were feeling, so I had to do a little bit of that on my own, but no problem. I usually do that on all guitars, which kind of are added to the collection. But look at this beauty over here. This is one nice shiny mother beep beep. Really like this guitar. And the great thing is this came for free because I took advantage of that buy two get one deal last year, and this is basically the main protagonist. This is my Solar A1.6 ANN with the aged natural finish, and yeah, Evertune bridge. This currently has a Seymour Duncan in the bridge position. This is, I think, a Rübezahl, which is a small pickup maker in Germany. Again, from the same person who sent me the bass. Yeah, he had some pickups like in a box, which he just sent over. Thank you for that. Yeah, so awesome guitar. This is my life guitar by now, so when I play with my band Tempest, this is the guitar which I regularly go for because of the Evertune bridge. The Evertune bridge is a pain in the ass to set up the first time, but after you got it set up, it's absolutely a godsend and really keeps in tune like they promise and advertise. Next up is maybe my first, I would say, really decent guitar, which is the Randy Rhoads RX10D. Now this is not the regular RR1. This is like their, I think, a little bit slimmed down budget version of that back then. So this was like 700 euros back in the day, and yeah, look at this crimson swirl, man. I really love this finish so much. It was like, for me as a thrash kid, 2007 I believe it was when I bought this. This was like the absolute coolest thing you could imagine. Yeah, so I think this has a compound radius, 12 to 16 inch. Yeah, sounds really good, plays really well. I like this guitar a lot. It's not exactly my style anymore. I'd rather take one of those, you know, super strat type of guitars, but you know, this is dear to my heart because this was like the first real guitar which I had. And over here you can see that maybe, like every Randy Rhoads owner on the world, at some point in time I kicked off that corner of the guitar, you know, and I still got those damage going on. So yeah, there's that. But you know, it's natural. These are the guitars, which usually are in the stands. There's one guitar left. Let me go over here, which is the Phoenix STL. This is like one of my most sought after guitars, which I like the most. This used to be pink, then I sanded this down with the help of a buddy, and then it turned out to have this like white coating over here. And this feels very like a matte finish, so we left it. We actually wanted to do some lava cracking finish, but then we left it with what we got over here. Yeah, and this over here is the best pickup which I ever heard. This is a Seymour Duncan SH5. However, this is wound by Maricela Juarez, who is now the boss of the custom shop, and she used to wound the pickups for Eddie Van Halen, Billy Gibbons, and a lot of other artists. So, and yeah, they do sound different than regular stock SH5s. I don't know what's going on, but you know, they have their special magic sauce in it. So this guitar over here was for a long time my main axe, and I'm currently, you know, falling in love once again with that. All right, now that we have spoken about the guitars, let's look at the amplifiers and the cabinets over here, because there's quite some substantial stuff going on over here, as you can see. So, yeah, not Kyle Bull levels yet, but I'm working on it constantly. So, over here we got my two pedal boards, which have the NAMM player and the Tonix as their core base, and then some stuff around that. So these are the pedal boards of me and Simon, which we use when we play live with Tempest. Next up, we got the Gallien-Kruger 250 ML. This is a really cool amp, really small sleeper amp. This is the amplifier which Iron Maiden has played on Somewhere in Time. The album really gets that sound absolutely 100% nailed. Certainly going to be a review on that amplifier soon on the channel. Next up, we got two attenuators. One is resistive and one is reactive. This over here, these both are do-it-yourself kits by Tubetown. So yeah, this over here is the Tonehound, and this is the POS. I'm not sure what that means. I think power of sound or something. Next up, we got some microphones over here in these bags, you know, like an Audix i5, and I think the V7X, which I also demoed on the channel, is in there as well. Over here down below, we got the Bugera 6262 Non-Infinium. This was the first amplifier which I had, like the first real amplifier, not the first actual amplifier, but like the first tube amplifier. This is an amazing amplifier, still sounds great. However, of course, it has been kind of replaced or made obsolete by the other additions to my amplifier collection, but this still, you know, holds a place in my heart, and I can't wait to get some use out of this at some point in time again. Down below, then we got two 2x12 cabinets, vertical. These are the same cabinets which you have seen eventually in the video where I fried up my speaker and I changed the cabinets in this one, like the V30s, which are fried up, against Marshall G12 vintages, which I bought off of John Brown, the other John Brown. So thank you for that, John. Amazing sounding speakers over here, and the cabinets in itself are really good, really good. Nothing to complain. This is what we use live when we play and we have to set up, you know, part of the back line, because we are sick and tired of lifting those 4x12 cabinets. So we just take those with, they sound really good, they work well with our pedals, and then we're good to go. All of this, you know, easily fits within the trunk of a car, and then also having added all of the merchandise, so that's really, really coming in handy size-wise. Next up, speaking of 4x12s, we got the Marshall 1960 AV cabinet. This particular cabinet over here is my absolute favorite cabinet in the world. I've never played through a better cabinet. I really love this cabinet. Whenever I connect to this, I'm, you know, like in sound heaven. So this really, really rocks. Over here we got Shure SM57 and my white crosses, which are basically my reference for the Trinity IR pack, which I released on Tone Hunt. So this really sounds great. Yeah, it's a 1960 AV cabinet, so it has the Marshall G12 vintage in it, which sound absolutely phenomenal. Then above that, we got the Saint Rock React IR load box over here. This is a reactive load box with some fancy schmancy details like an IR loader. You also got effects and so on and so forth. But I'm mainly using it as the reactive load, which it is. And it has a cool attenuation thing. So you can also play through a cab while, you know, using it as a load box. Then next up, we got what I call here the 5150 tower, because all of these are some kind of derivative of the 5150 amplifier. Above over here, we got a second Bugera 6262, which I bought back then as a backup for my first amplifier, for the first Bugera 6262. Then next up, we got the PV 6505 Plus, which potentially is my favorite amplifier in the world. I really, really love the gnarly tone which this offers. But, you know, the EVH 5150 is slowly winning me over, you know, like the 5153 100 watt ivory version. This really sounds phenomenal. This is a really good amplifier. I really enjoy a lot playing through this recently, especially in combination with the Lichtlam Audio King in Yellow. Over here, we got one of the NAMM player units, which I got. I got two of them. This is one of the newer generations. I haven't actually really plugged in this yet over here because the older V1 is still in use on my pedal board, but that's gonna change soon. Gonna also make some more content on the NAMM player pedal. Yeah, and then moving on, we got three other amplifiers over here. Let's start from top to bottom. This is the Bugera 1990. The 1990 is basically a JCM 900 copy. Sounds okay-ish, you know, like, it's not the best amplifier in the world, but so is not the JCM 900 as well. Bugera 333 is a copy of the PV XXX, and this is exactly what it sounds like. So it has that nice crank to it, you know, that nice clank, a little bit cold, you know, in the sound aesthetic, but can be really crushing even without a boost. Next up is a loaner device, which is loaned by me by Daniel, our bass player in Tempest, and this is the Marshall JVM 410HJS, the Joe Satriani signature model. This is an amazing sounding Marshall. Some say this is the best sounding Marshall ever, and others, you know, despise the JVM series and whatever variant there is, but a lot of people are really coming to the conclusion that the JVM JS sounds better than the original JVM, which I can really attest to. So especially the crunch channel has a lot more that JCM 800 style than on the original. You know, the OD1 is the same like the OD1 on the JVM, and the OD2 of this amplifier is the same like the OD1. So they just doubled the channel for different lead settings and so on and so forth. But the cleans are better, the crunch is better on this amplifier than on the original JVM. So there's that. Next up, we got pedals going on. This is my boost board over here. A lot of boost pedals going on, distortion pedals, overdrive pedals. So we got stuff like classics like the M77, the Maxon OD808. We got the Boss SD1 over here. Something which, this over here was my first boost pedal, the Ibanez TS7, which is now really sought after, but actually doesn't sound that good, to be honest. But it has its special flavor. And then some more sought after pedals, you know, we got the Tempest, the Mudkiller, the Deadweld Duality. So that's really cool that I have that in my collection. Was waiting so long to get that actually. And the Lichtlam Audio King in Yellow. And two further loaner devices, the Blues Driver and OCD. These are not my own. These are loaned by me by a buddy. Yeah, and the Maxon OD808X, which is cool, but, you know, not exactly my alley. And you can see in the background, we got tons of different pedals going on over there in the cardboard. I think, you know, like, everybody who's serious about tone hunting by now will have like one of those boxes where they got, you know, all different kinds of pedals going on. Some cabling, some organizing stuff, some cables, all of that stuff. All right, next up, we're getting into the actual, let's say, PC corner where I got all of my stuff. You can see that I got a little bit of room treatment going on over here. So this is very important to kind of silence the echoes when doing like, you know, speaking and stuff like that. Super important for me personally. Yeah, I take a lot of pride in the setup which I have because I do a lot of home office work and office work in general. I'm an avid believer in ergonomic stuff. So I got over here the Interstuhl 24 IS chair. This is a really high quality office chair. This is not one of those, you know, like gaming chair type of things. This is like a high quality office chair which allows for 24/7 hour use. So you can actually use this all day long. This over here is my site then over here. What we got, this is what my working space looks like. So we got the Kali In8 V2, something like that. The three-way speakers, the newer edition of them. They are really, really tremendously good sounding. These are a totally different animal than the LPs. I had the Kali LP version 2 before, but these are, man, these are a different animal. Let's put this up over here. So let's put this up over here. These are on the stands, which you won't believe it. This over here did a massive trick in, you know, getting the low end under control, just making the stands heavier with some sand filled in, and then having those bricks placed on that. That was basically the game changer. So yeah, let me press on the button over here so that the screen is lighting up. Let me move the camera back to my face. Yeah, so this is basically my space over here. As you can see, I've taken a lot of pride, a lot of work, you know, in setting up things correctly. Let's talk about the desk setup in total, but let's do that from a different angle over here. Let's now talk about the surrounding peripherals, which means everything which involves the content creation stuff, which is not guitar related or specifically guitar related, because it's always nice that you can show off your amplifiers, you can show off your guitars, say, oh, look at this, what I got over here. But in order to do the content creation, none of that matters, because without a microphone, without a camera, you cannot get decent videos done. So let's first start with the camera. Now, I'm a big fan of using webcams because they're easy to use, plug and play, you open OBS and you're good to go. At some point, I might eventually go down the DSLR route, but for now, that's not what I'm really after. What you're looking at currently is the Elgato Facecam Mark II. This is a really cool webcam, 150 euros, I think I paid for it. And what I like about it is it has a pretty crisp picture. It shows colors in a very good fashion, and all the settings are saved onto the camera. This was a problem with my previous camera, the Logitech StreamCam. On OBS Reboot, I always have to change stuff. I always have to set up stuff manually in order to make my videos and to make it look good. But, you know, there's that. Let me move over to the Logitech StreamCam, which is currently on my monitor over here. This is what it looks like. This is not per se a bad picture over here, especially, you know, things darkened a little bit. If you want to have like a smooth atmosphere, you know, like inviting somebody to talk a little bit, you know, especially if this would now be completely dark over here and no daylight would fade in, then this would make a pretty good picture in my personal opinion, especially with the headlight over here. You know, it's kind of smooth, but it still has the issue that I have to set up all of this stuff every single time when I'm doing videos. So I'm pretty happy with the Elgato Facecam Mark II, which offers a little bit more of a crisp picture, I would say. Next up, we have spoken about the Kali In V2 already, which were the massive upgrade compared to the LP8. No offense against the LP8, those are absolutely fantastic budget loudspeakers in order to get you going, but these are a substantial upgrade, especially because of the three-way speaker design. This is like really a game changer. I hate that word. We all hate that word, but it is what it is. When it comes to lighting, you know, I only got these two ring lights, which I got over here, so you can see actually my hand blurring out because of the ring light. I got another one over there. You saw that maybe in the video section before. Then I got a small light over here, which was installed when we moved into the apartment. I turned off the main light of the room, and I only got this headlight shining on my hair so that you can see a little bit more of the silhouettes and contours. This is something which I recently added to the lighting setup, so to speak. And then I got another light, which is just this, you know, fairly standard light bulb, which I got at Home Depot. And this is shining up and kind of making a nice mix with the LED stripes over here, which are in these two shelves over here, shining with the red and the blue. That gives a nice purple hue on the wall over there. Looks very neat, not only for you, the viewer, but also for me, the content creator. When I come into this room and I see everything kind of glowing up, really looks good. Really makes me happy. But lighting is something which I definitely have to invest more time and more money and more research into enhancing my videos. But I think I want to first upgrade the camera in some shape or form before I go down that route. What else do we have? I got this big 21 by 9 Samsung monitor over here. This is really awesome if you got timelines and you can stretch them over that big monitor. So this is a curved monitor which is set up a little bit further away from me. That way I can do the video editing really easy, or when I'm doing stuff on Reaper, this is super convenient. I still can split the screens. Very nice. You know, when it comes to the PC stuff, I'm, you know, pretty well set up because I'm a PC nerd as well. Not only a music nerd, but I'm a PC nerd as well, and I work in IT. So I have to have kind of good stuff going around over here. In regards of the speakers, I got the room treatment, we talked about that, but I also got the Arc Studio by IK Multimedia, which is a room correction EQ box. So it's a hardware unit which does some room correction measurements and then adjusts to the EQ after that. The nice thing is this is a hardware unit. I can turn this via button on and off. So this is not like the Sonos plugin or software which you have to load into the PC every time you boot up. This is like a hardware unit, very easy to use. Yeah, and I think that this is all there is to it. I mean, the rest of the stuff has already been shown around. So thank you everybody for joining the journey so far. If you have done it at this place, then thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, yeah, what do you thought about the gear which I got over here? What kind of video ideas come to mind when you see the gear which I'm having? What am I supposed to do with all of that stuff? Let me know down below in the comments. I certainly got some ideas, but I always appreciate your feedback and your ideas as well. And if you're a content creator, then please let me know. What are you using? Do you like the setup which I got over here? Do you think I could enhance something dramatically? Let me know down below in the comments as well. And yeah, eventually think about making a video on yourself, on, you know, just showcasing your stuff, because I love watching other people and their setups, what they're using, what motivates them to do this stuff, and so on and so forth. So first off, thank you, Paul, for the nice talks. Always a pleasure talking to you. And also, of course, to all of the other people which are in the smaller YouTube community. Really feels like we got something really cool going on, and I can't wait to see you all in person at some point in time. Speaking of meeting each other in person, I bought myself a ticket for Guitar Summit 2025. So here I'm coming, Mannheim, Germany, and I'm excited to see each and every one of you out there in person in Mannheim next year. What do you thought about this video style, this vlogging style approach? Do you like it so far? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you like what you saw, then please consider hitting the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, comment on it. Helps me getting pushed out to the algorithm gods. And with that out of the way, thank you everybody for watching. See you in the next video, and until then, keep it metal.